Hey y'all, Melissa here with you today, and today I'm going to show you how to stitch in the ditch. Now you may find an instruction in a project telling you to finish by stitching in the ditch, and you may have no idea what that means, so I'm going to show you. You can see that I've got two pieces of fabric here that I sewed together in a seam line with contrasting threads so it's easily visible. The ditch that all these patterns are referring to when they tell you to stitch in the ditch is actually this little indentation formed where those two seams join. So to stitch in the ditch, what you would do is put the fabric in your machine, line it up so your needle is going to fall directly into that ditch, and then you would go ahead and stitch. Now what happens, and the reason people tell you to do that, is that you can see, even though I sewed with thread that shows up very well on this fabric, you really can't see without looking really closely and kind of pulling the seam really tight. You can't see where I just stitched that. Now why would you want to do this? Well, a lot of times stitching in the ditch is used to cover up seam allowances and finish raw edges. For example, if there was a cuff on this pattern, let's say maybe it was a sleeve cuff, and it told you to finish by stitching in the ditch, what you would do is you would press under the raw edge and then you would fold it so that that folded edge just barely covers the seam allowance. And you would want to pin that in place. Now if I flip this back to the right side and stitch in the ditch, let's see what happens. So you can see once again that I've got a barely visible seam, which would be much less visible if I had gone straight when I sewed and also if I hadn't sewn this twice. But on the front side, if you use a coordinating thread instead of a contrasting one, you would not be able to see this. But on the back side, I've got a line of stitching that has enclosed all of those raw edges inside. And this is a great way to finish off cuffs. This is a great way to finish off maybe partial linings that cover a waist seam. Sometimes it is used on necklines. There are lots of times that you might use stitching in the ditch. And again, it's a technique to hide your stitching on the right side while securing something on the back side.